Welcome to 3-Minute Friday by ArcticStartup. This week we're gonna start from news from Finland. A company called Nava who raised $3.2 million in order to launch a production facility in the US. And why do they need a production facility, might you ask? Because they're a hardware company. They bring plants and fresh air out of Nordics into offices worldwide. Basically, they build these huge green walls. We have about, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them in the office, and help you breathe clean air inside the office. They want to grow in the US, and that's why they're building a factory there. They also started a crowdfunding campaign, so if you want to join the team, just invest into the crowdfunding campaign right now. What we like about the company is that they're thinking hardware, not software. And what is interesting to note is that a lot of startups in the hardware business is actually more profitable, faster, and quicker, and scale better than those in software industries. Just check the numbers out for yourself. That's an interesting fact. Next up is a company out of Denmark called QIT, and what they do is basically help you manage traffic spikes on your website. You see, most of the time you have no traffic on your website at all because you have a small company here and there, but once in a while you get featured in ArcticStartup or TechCrunch or some other great website, and you have a traffic spike. But if your server load is pretty bad, your visitors just can't get into your website, and it just shows error or nothing at all. That means they will never come back. These guys created a queue system, so if there's a big traffic spike, they just display a queue, and you say that you're gonna get in about 1 minute, please enjoy the show. They raised 350,000 euros in order to strengthen their position in the market, although they are already a market leader in what they do. Another news out of Denmark is for the city itself. Copenhagen was marked this year as the #1 city in the world to attract talent. And that is really good for startups to know, because, well, we need talent. Moving from funding news, we want to talk about media, as we have Media Honeypot conference coming up next month on the 9th of February. We're going to talk about the future of media, and to help us, there's going to be Google distributing funding. They basically have a fund of 150 million euros in order to give up to innovative media companies. We personally really want to know what the future of media is, so we are going to apply ourselves, and we really recommend anybody that you know who has a media company to check it out and look for more information about this initiative. Finally, a big acquisition news from the Nordics and Baltics is a company that you may know if you live in the region. It's basically the cinema company SFBio in Sweden, or Finkino in Finland, or Super Cinemas or whatever it is in Estonia. Basically, they got bought up by a Chinese conglomerate who is going to be the biggest cinema holder in the world with this acquisition. They paid $930 million for the acquisition, and that means that they are going to be a Chinese company from now on next time you go to the cinemas in the region. Which brings us to the last piece of news. Today, on Friday, is a Chinese New Year, so we wish everybody from China happy holidays, and don't expect your partners from China to reply to any emails anytime soon. Finally, we want to tell you the guys that we're really looking for cool startups from the region, and if you're quick, the first startup that sends an email to editor@arcticstartup.com will be featured in next week's video. So send us an email. And finally, let us know what you think about 3-Minute Friday format and what we can do better. Subscribe, like, follow us. See you next time. Ta-ta.